Hi, this is Mike Ferguson, President of the Self-Insurance Institute of America, and I'm talking to you today from SIIA's Washington, D.C. office here in the heart of the nation's capital. Subject today is SIIA's Political Action Committee. I hope most of you are aware that SIIA has sponsored the Political Action Committee for the last couple of years. It's really an important tool for us, for the association and the industry, to exert influence here in the nation's capital. And for today's purpose, I want to give a little bit of a heads up on what our plans are for the 2014 year. Each year, the PAC's Board of Trustees sets a budget for our PAC contributions and who they're going to go to through the course of the year. Our board met just a couple weeks ago, and we finalized that budget. And we also finalized the allocations for those dollars. Since those dollars are coming in from SIIA members and other stakeholders, we thought it would be important for you to get a little flavor of what our game plan is for the year. So what I want to do is just spend a couple minutes to sort of take you through where those dollars are going, and then finish off just to remind you how you can help the cause. First, the board has approved a budget of $50,000 for political contributions for 2014. Certainly that does not make us the largest player in town, but we've been consistently improving and expanding our contributions over the last couple of years, and that trend line looks positive as we go into 2015. So the aggregate numbers, we're looking to put $50,000 to support members of Congress and candidates that we think can be supportive to our industry. And so that's the total number, and what we've done here is we've prepared a little chart to give you a little bit more detail in terms of where those contributions are going. First, I think it's important to note is for our industry, there's typically 5 committees that we deal with on issues related to self-insurance. And those are, there's 3 in the House. It's the House Education Workforce Committee, the House Energy and Commerce Committee. These are actually probably the 2 main ones in the House, and then occasionally we deal with the House Ways and Means Committee. And in the Senate, there's 2 primary committees that we deal with. The Senate Finance Committee and the Senate Help Committee. HELP stands for Health, Education, Labor, and Pension Committee. So one of the things that we're looking for in terms of when we decide what we're going to put our resources in is members that serve on committees of jurisdiction for legislation that we're interested in. So this is why you see these 5 committees outlined. Occasionally we may have the House Financial Services Committee on occasion on certain things, but in this case, these are the 5 committees that we're looking at. So once we've identified the committees, which we have done, then we have to determine which individual members of the committees are going to get contributions. Now, if we had unlimited resources, we'd park contributions in just about everybody on each of the committees to hedge our bets. But since we're dealing with a limited amount of budget, we kind of have to pick and choose and prioritize those contributions in a strategic way. So let me walk you through that here. First, starting with the House Education and Workforce Committee. John Klein is the chairman of the committee, and as a general rule we tried for the chairman and the ranking members of the committee, ranking member meaning the highest ranking of the opposite party that doesn't control the committee. We try to make sure that they're definitely on our list. So Chairman Klein is on our list. Phil Rowe is the chairman of the subcommittee on health, which is even a more focused committee on issues related to self-insurance, so we make sure we take care of him. Trey Gowdy actually happens to be my representative in South Carolina, so we thought that would be an obvious match given my access to him. Rob Andrews is the ranking member of the committee. As it turns out, things can be fluid. Mr. Andrews had just announced his retirement, so we're going to replace him with somebody else. Tim Bishop out of New York, we chose him because we have a few members that are in his district, and also former Congressman Bar Stupak, who's a SIIA lobbyist, has a good relationship with Mr. Bishop, and so we're going to try to leverage that. So that's our game plan for the House Education Workforce Committee. For the House Energy and Commerce Committee, Fred Umpton is the chair of the committee, so we definitely want to make sure that he's taken care of. Bill Cassidy is the bill sponsor of the Self-Insurance Protection Act, so he's a no-brainer. Marsha Blackburn out of Tennessee, she's an up-and-comer in the GOP. We also have several members in Tennessee that are in her district, so that makes it an obvious choice. The other Democrats on the list here, those we've targeted as moderate House Democrats that we think are potentially sympathetic to what we're doing for SIIA. So that rounds out the group here. Coming over to the Ways and Means Committee, as I mentioned, is that we don't have a whole lot of business before them, but we have a little bit of business, so we kind of have a smaller list for them. Dave Camp, who is the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, so we take care of the chairman. Matter of fact, I'll be going to an event for Chairman Camp just this evening here in Washington, D.C. Tom Price is a longtime supporter of the SIIA and the self-insurance industry, so we take care of him. And Congressman Kind out of Wisconsin, moderate House Democrat, who we think is potentially sympathetic to what we're doing. Now, switching over to the Senate. The Senate Finance Committee is, for several years, we've had close relationship with the, up until recently, chairman of that committee, Senator Max Baucus. Senator Baucus has just resigned that position to take the ambassadorship to China. He's being replaced by Senator Ron Wyden out of Oregon, so we're going to make sure that Senator Wyden is supported, as well as Ranking Member Orrin Hatch. And then Senator Crapo is an influential member of the GOP, and we also have some members that are there in Idaho that are good connections with him. Finally, we have the Senate Help Committee, and in that committee we've targeted what we believe to be is going to be the incoming chair of that committee, Patty Murray. Senator Bob Casey is a moderate out of Pennsylvania that we think would be worth developing a better relationship with. Lamar Alexander is the ranking member of that committee and very big advocate of self-insurance. And then Mike Enzi, who is a longtime supporter of SIIA and the self-insurance industry. So we put him on the list here for 2014. We have left some dollars in the budget for what we consider contingency. So if there's some things that change and we want to throw a few dollars to other folks, we can do that. But this is our game plan for 2014. Now, of course, our ability to make these contributions is directly linked to our ability to seek financial contributions from our members. So if you are a SIIA member and you are getting communications from the PAC, we encourage you to read those, and if you're so inclined, make a contribution. If you have not been hearing from the PAC, it may simply be that you have not signed an authorization form which allows us to communicate with you, in which case I would encourage you either to call our office here and ask for Kevin McKinney at 202-463-8161 and ask to be added to the list, or you can get some information through our website at SIIA.org. So I hope you found this presentation informative. We'll try to do this as we go through the year with PAC updates and let you know how things are going. And for that, I'm going to sign off from our nation's capital.